now. All right, so we'll start off our class in a meditation pose of your choice. So seated or lying down. Just find a comfortable position. And just if you're seated, just ground into your sit bones. If you're lying down, ground into your back. You can keep both feet flat on the floor or have your legs extended. So just remember in your practice to find your breath. You can close your eyes and start to fill in your inhales. You inhale up through your nose, filling up completely, up through your chest, and then exhaling out through nose or mouth. Just start to ground in and start to find the present moment. Focus on every inhale and exhale. Anything that happened today or yesterday, or even what's happening in the future, put that aside. And this time is for you and your personal practice. We'll do a few more rounds of breath in our seated meditation. Taking your time. We'll take one more deep inhale in, filling up through your belly, expanding up through your chest, and then exhaling out through nose or mouth. We'll start to open your eyes. If you're lying down, find your way to a cross-legged position, easy pose. And then from here, we'll start to roll our shoulders forward. And then roll to the back. And then release. Let's do some neck rolls side to side, or you can do full circles, your preference. Reverse the motion. And find our way back to center. Let's stretch out our neck. So on our inhale, we'll lift our right arm up tall, and then we'll place the right palm of our hand on the left side of our head, and then dropping our right ear towards right shoulder. And remember, you want to do like a gentle push-pull motion on the side of your head, feeling a stretch on the side of your neck. And then inhale, release. Let's do the other side. Inhale, lifting our left arm up, placing the left palm on the right side of the head, dropping our left ear towards left shoulder, and a gentle push-pull motion on our head. And then inhale, release up, back to center. And then when on our inhale, let's lift both arms up, interlacing our fingers together, placing the palms of our hands on the back of our head, and then gently dropping our chin towards chest. So a gentle pressure on the back of your head. It's really nice stretches if you've been at the computer or at your phone. And then inhale, release your hands, head back to center. Let's do our seated flow. So inhale, sweep our arms up tall. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the right, gazing over our right shoulder. Inhale, rise up tall. Exhale, twist to the left, gazing over our left shoulder. And then inhale up tall. Let's interlace our fingers and flip our palms up for a long body stretch for our torso. And then exhale, release our hands. And then from here, I forgot one thing. So inhale, rise up tall with your arms, and then exhale, hinge at your hips for a seated forward fold. Take a couple breaths here. And then inhale, curl your spine up one vertebra at a time. Head comes last, back into our seat. Let's transition into hands and knees, our tabletop position. So remember to knees directly under your hips, wrist directly under shoulders, long spine from the crown of our head to our tailbone. And then from here, we're gonna do a little different kind of cat and cow flow motion. It's like a different little spine movement. It's called a tiger pose flow. So on our inhale, we'll lift our right leg up with our right foot pointed, and then we'll drop our belly, head rises. It's like a cow motion. And then exhale, we'll bring right knee towards nose, like with cat. Then inhale, lifting our right leg, and then our chest and head up. Exhale, knee to nose. And then one more time, inhale, lifting that right leg up. And then exhale, release back into tabletop. We'll do the other side. So our inhale, lifting up our left leg, left foot pointed, and our left leg bent. So we dropping our belly, head rises. Exhale, knee to nose, curling our spine up. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, knee to nose. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale, back into tabletop. And then from here, let's do some regular cat and cows. So on our inhale, dropping our belly, head rises for cow pose. Exhale, the cat. Inhale to cow pose. And then you can start to introduce any other spinal movements that feel good to you. You can do figure eights, moving side to side, lowering into child's pose, rising back up. Just do what feels good for you right now. And we'll take one more inhale in, and then exhaling out completely, making our way back into tabletop. And then from our tabletop, let's do some wrist stretches. I don't think we've done this before. So in our tabletop, we're gonna turn our hands where our fingers are pointing towards us. So you can do one hand at a time or both, just depending on how it feels to you. And then you start to rock front to back. And you'll feel kind of a nice little forearm stretch. It's a good way to stretch out the wrists and your forearms. And then let's turn our hands to the side. So our fingers pointing side to side. And then we'll rock side to side. And then make your way back into tabletop. So from our tabletop, we'll do thread the needle. So inhale, right arm rises up tall, gazing up. And then exhale, right arm sweeps under. So we'll our right shoulder on the mat and right side of the head. So our left arm's at that 90-degree angle, or you can walk it forward or bind your left arm behind you. Feeling the stretch in the right side of your neck and in your shoulder. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out. Unwinding on your inhale and release back to tabletop. Let's do the other side. So inhale, left arm lifts up tall. Exhale, left arm threads under, left side of the head on the mat, left shoulder, right arm, 90-degree angle, or you could walk it forward or bind it behind you. One more inhale in, filling up. Exhale out, release. And then on your inhale, right, lift that left arm up tall, gazing up. And then exhale, release back into tabletop. All right, from our tabletop, let's do puppy pose. So I think we did this in one of the other previous classes. So from here, you can use your blocks if you have them, or you don't have to use them. So if you're using the blocks in your tabletop, make sure you place your blocks underneath your hands. And then we'll start to walk our hands forward. You can do this without the blocks. Once your hands are forward, dropping your forehead to the mat, keeping your hips up tall, feeling a nice shoulder stretch. And just remember, in puppy pose, your hips are lifted up. And just keep breathing. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely. And then slowly on your next inhale, walk your hands back into tabletop, and then placing your blocks to the side if you use them. Okay, from our tabletop position, let's tuck our toes under, and then lifting our hips up for one of our very few downward facing dogs of class today. So remember, in your downward facing dog, you want your fingers wide and you're pressing into all 10 finger pads. Feet are hip distance apart. You can have as much of a bend in your knees as you need. You want to spiral your forearms forward, and that, like the inside of your elbows, start to spiral those forward. You want to keep a long spine from the crown of your head to your tailbone. You can start to pedal out your heels. And just shaking your head yes and no. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely. Back into downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, on our inhale, we'll lift our right leg up to three-legged dog. So our hips are square, right foot's flexed. Exhale, right foot steps through in between our hands. You can grab your blocks if you'd like, have them on level 1 or 2, and then you can drop your back knee back. So if you're on a hard surface like I am, you can double up your mat off like from the side. That will give you a little bit more cushion. Unfortunately, my mat's really thin and it's not going to do much good. But if you're on carpet, you don't have to do this. But it's just an option to you to give you a little bit more support. Or if you have a blanket on hand, you can do that to support your knees, back knee as well. So hands can be on your blocks or not, and making sure your ankle is stacked below your knee. And then from here, we're going to flow from front to back. So on our inhale, we're going to straighten that front leg, right toes face up, forehead towards right shin. And then inhale back into our low lunge. And then exhale, straighten that front leg. Inhale to or straighten that front leg. Exhale to low lunge. I got them a little mixed up. Inhale, straighten your leg, forehead to shin. And then one more time, exhale back into our low lunge. And then from here, on our next inhale, we'll raise our arms up tall. And you can start to shift your hips forward a little bit, keeping our hips square. We'll breathe here for a couple rounds. And then exhale, release our hands. And then let's step that right foot back into tabletop. Unrolling your mat if you have it rolled or folded back. So inner tabletop, let's tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward facing dog. And then inhale, we'll lift our left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot steps through to our runner's lunge. and then dropping that right leg behind us. Grabbing your blocks for support if you need them. And then from here, we're gonna flow front to back like we did on the other side. So we're on our inhale, straighten that left leg, head towards shin. Exhale back into low lunge. Inhale, head to knee. Exhale, low lunge. Do that one more time. And then head to knee. And then back into our low lunge. And then on our next inhale, we'll lift our arms up tall. You can walk your left leg forward a little bit, shifting our hips forward a little bit, feeling a nice stretch in our hip. And then exhale, release our hands to the mat or to the blocks, and then stepping back into that runner's lunge, not runner's lunge, or tabletop. And then from our tabletop, let's tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up for our downward facing dog. And then from our downward facing dog, let's tiptoe our way to the top of the mat. Find our ragdoll position. So our feet are hip distance apart, grabbing opposite elbows. Keeping a nice bend in your knees. Swing side to side, front to back, loosening up our spine and our hamstrings. And then on our next exhale, release our hands. And then inhale, curl our spine up. One vertebra at a time, and finding our way into mountain pose. Feet hip distance apart, palms facing forward, shoulders pulled down, grounding into all four corners of the feet. And then from here, let's do a couple half sun salutations just to a little bit more of a warm up. So inhale, sweep our arms up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, palms to shins or thighs for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. And let's release our hands back into mountain pose. So we're going to do some standing slow flow motions here. So inhale, up into high mountain pose. And then exhale, we're going to side bend to the right. So we're going to drop our right arm by our side, and then our left arm curls up above us, keeping our hips square. So you're going to feel a nice stretch on the left side of your body. And then inhale back into high mountain pose. Exhale, side bend to the left. So we're dropping our left arm, right arm curls above our head. And then inhale back up to high mountain pose. And then exhale, release into mountain pose. So from here, let's take a big step and take a wide stance. And so we want to make sure our feet are parallel here. So inhale, let's tee out our arms. Actually, our feet are going to be at a 45-degree angle. So heels in, toes out. And then exhale, we'll squat down. Our arms are still out in a T. We're pressing into our heels, our tailbone slightly tucked under. And then on our next exhale, we're going to take a side bend to the right, So right arm, inner right thigh, and then opening up our left shoulder. Remember, it's like your extended side angle pose. Keep breathing here. And we'll gaze up at our left hand. Then inhale, back up into our T, still maintaining our squat. And then exhale, side bend to the left. Left arm, inner left thigh, opening up the right shoulder. Right arm arcs above our head, feeling the stretch on the right side of our body. And then inhale, rise up into star pose. So now we can parallel out our feet. And then on our next exhale, we'll hinge at our hips, wide-legged forward fold. So you can use your blocks to support your hands, or you can take like a ragdoll position, like grabbing opposite elbows. You can take a halfway lift, just depending on your comfort and how it feels to you. You don't want to strain your lower back. So if you need to back off, that's okay. And just keep breathing. And then on your next exhale, releasing your hands either to your blocks or to the mat. And then inhale into a halfway lift. So you can, if you're on the ground, your hands are on the ground, like have like Spider-Man fingers. You're lifting up with a flat back. Exhale, bend at your elbows, forward fold. And then inhale, rise up with a flat back with control, back into star pose. And so we'll stay in our star pose, but we're going to take these side lunges side to side gently. So on our exhale, bend at your right leg for that gentle lunge. Inhale back into star pose. Exhale to the left. Gentle side to side motions at your own pace. Don't rush it. Just use your breath. It's a gentle vinyasa flow. Breath to movement. Let's do one more time on each side. And then inhale back into star pose. Then exhale, let's take a big step back up to the top of the mat to our mountain pose. And we'll find our way back to the mat. So inhale, sweep your arms up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then we'll step our feet back into downward facing dog. And then inhale, release into tabletop. From our tabletop, we're going to do what's called, it's a gentle back bend called Sphinx pose. So we're going to lower to our belly and both legs straight behind us. So we're going to bring our, bend at our arms. So our forearms are in the mat, fingers are wide. So we're gently pressing into our forearms and lifting our chest up and forward when we're gazing forward, making sure our shoulders are pulled down. Just nice, gentle inhales and exhales. And then from here, we're going to do kind of a gentle flow in this. So from here, we'll, on our next inhale, we'll gaze over our right shoulder and then bending our right leg so we can see like our right toes. Exhale, release the center, facing forward. And then inhale, gazing over our left shoulder, taking a peek at our left toes. And exhale, release. Do it one more time. Inhale, gazing towards our right foot. Exhale, release. And then inhale, gazing towards our right foot, or left foot. Exhale, release. And then from here, let's release our forehead to the tops of our hands. So we can stack our hands, resting our forehead on our hands. And let's bend at our knees, keeping both feet flexed, and then windshield wipering our feet from side to side. Just releasing our back. So we're gonna rise back up into Sphinx pose again, but it's preparing us to go into kind of a shoulder stretch. So then release our legs right straight behind us. And then I'll change directions here. So in our Sphinx pose, so our forearms are on the mat, fingers are wide. So from here, we're going to tuck our right arm behind our left arm. So we're going to create a little cross here, crisscross, and then we start to walk our hands off to the sides. Once you feel the stretch in your shoulders, you can relax your neck, bring your forehead towards your arms. This is just another way to stretch your shoulders. Just maintain your breath. And then inhale, release back into Sphinx pose. And then from here, we'll do the other side. So to switch your arms, crisscross, and then walking your hands off to the side, releasing our forehead. And inhale, find your way back to Sphinx pose. And then exhale, releasing our forehead on top of our hands. And then bending at our knees, flexing our feet, windshield wipering our feet from side to side. All right, and let's find our way back into tabletop. And then from here, let's take a child's pose. So we'll walk our knees wide, big toes to touch, and then extending our arms forward, resting our forehead on the mat or a block. Just maintain your breath. And then on your next exhale, let's walk our hands off to the right. You can stack both hands on top of each other. And feeling a side stretch on your left. And then let's walk our hands off to the left. And then back to center. And then let's walk our hands back into tabletop and let's take a seat. Let's bring both feet flat on the mat. So we're gonna do a little gentle ab exercise here. So from here, let's lean back into our forearms. And then we'll lift up our feet to like our modified boat position. So we want to point our toes, and then we'll do gentle toe taps alternating. So keeping your core strong and just gently tapping one foot at a time. keep on breathing. We'll do a couple more. And one and then two, and then back into our boat, and then release our feet, and then lifting back up. So let's find a like a butterfly, or it's like a Baddha Konasana with the soles of your feet together. So from here, we'll grab our ankles with our hands and then pressing our elbows into our inner thighs. We want to make sure we're grounding into our sit bones, keeping a tall spine. So this is a way to stretch your inner thighs. Just maintaining our breath. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhale, release. Let's release our hands from our ankles, but this time, an option, you can do this option or just keep your hands on your ankles. So if you want the other version, you can slide your hands underneath your ankles and then pressing your elbows into your inner thighs and then taking a fold forward. And if the hands underneath your ankles don't work, just place your hands on top of your feet. I'll take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely, and then slowly curling our spine up one vertebra at a time, and then bringing our hands out from underneath our ankles to a tall spine. And then let's extend both legs out forward. So from here, we'll do some twists. So let's bend our left leg, placing the left foot on the inside. Actually, we'll cross it on top, over the top of our right leg, grounding into our sit bones. So from here, let's, on our inhale, lifting our left arm up and then sweeping it right behind us. So our left hand is right behind us. And then inhaling up our right arm. And then you can bend at your right elbow and taking that twist to the outside of our left knee. Or you can hug your arm around your knee and then gazing over our left shoulder. You want to make sure you have a tall spine lifting up, and with every exhale, you can twist a little bit deeper. And then on our next inhale, let's slowly release our both arms up tall, and then exhale, release. Let's switch legs. So our left leg is out straight, and then we'll cross our right foot over the top of our left leg. And we're grounding, making sure your right foot is grounded into the mat and your left toes are flexed. And then inhale, sweeping our right arm up tall, bringing it behind us, and then lifting up our left arm, and then taking that twist. Remember, you can bend at the elbow or hug your arm around that right leg, and then gazing over our right shoulder. Maintaining that tall spine, grounding into our sit bones. And then inhale, lifting our arms up tall, uncrossing our legs, bringing both legs forward, both feet flexed. And then let's exhale, take a forward fold. And a nice option for this forward fold, you can bring both feet flat to the mat and your knees are up a little bit and you can just fold forward, or you can bring blocks underneath your knees to support you. Just a couple options to modify. And then inhale, rise up, curl up to a tall spine. Let's make our way to our backs. So we'll keep both knees bent, and then one vertebra at a time, lower your spine down. And then from here, let's arms by our side. So we're gonna do a figure 4 stretch. So we'll take our left ankle and cross it above our right knee, creating that figure 4 shape, making sure your left foot is flexed. And then we'll lift that right foot, interlacing our fingers behind our right leg. If you want a modified version, you don't have to interlace your fingers. You can just prop your right foot on a block or a couple books. Or you can, if you're by a wall, you can just place your right foot against the wall. That's a really nice version that I like. If you're in the traditional figure 4 position, you can press your left elbow into your left inner thigh for a little bit more of a stretch. Take a few more rounds of breath here. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely. So from here, we'll release our hands, or if you're propped up on a block, put that aside. So you want to keep your figure 4 shape, and you're placing your right foot on the floor. So we're going to do a different version of a twist. So we're going to tee out our arms, and then we're going to guide your left foot off to the right for a twist. So if your left foot does not touch the ground, you can use a block or a pillow or a blanket or anything you have to prop it up. So this is a nice way to stretch your IT band as well. And it's making sure your shoulders are grounded into the mat. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out, slowly rising up to the figure 4. And let's switch our legs. So right ankle above left knee, creating that figure 4 shape, right foot flexed. And then we'll guide our hands behind our left leg for figure 4. Remember, you can prop your left foot up on a block or place your left foot against the wall. You can press your right elbow into your right inner thigh for more of a stretch. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out, releasing your hands, keeping your figure 4 shape, placing your left foot on the mat. Let's tee out our arms, and then let's guide that right foot towards the left for that twist. Remember, if your right foot doesn't touch, if it does not touch the ground, you can use a block or any other prop you have to give it a little bit more support. Grounding both shoulders into the mat. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely. And then slowly back to center. And then let's release our feet to the mat. And then from here, let's hug both knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And then from here, let's hug our right knee into chest, extending our left leg out in front of us, keeping our left foot flexed and our right foot flexed. And then from here, let's guide our right knee from side to side, or you can do little circles with your knee. And then reverse. And back to center. And we'll switch legs. Let's bring the left knee towards chest, extending the right leg, both feet flexed. Just guiding your knee side to side or in just little circles. And then reversing your circles. And then slowly let's extend that left leg forward. Let's bring our arms above our head for a good morning stretch. And then from here, let's walk our feet back into prepping for bridge pose. So I want to do the restorative version of bridge pose. So if you have a block or like a folded up blanket, grab that. If you don't, it's fine. So make sure your ankles are stacked below your knees, and then we'll press into both feet, lifting our hips and our back off the mat. If you have your prop, place it underneath the sacrum, and then dropping down, and it's supporting. So your sacrum's being supported by the block or your blanket. If you don't have the prop, you can just keep your back and your hips lifted. We're not going to do too of an intense bridge pose here. And if you have the block, you can have it on level 1 or 2 for this practice. I think 3 would be a little bit too intense. So you want to make sure you have space between your chin and your chest. Palms can be facing up or down. We'll take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely. And let's press our feet into the mat, lifting our hips up off the block or your whatever prop you're using, placing your prop aside, and then curling our spine down one vertebra at a time. And then in this last minute before Shavasana, I'll start to give you the option of any finishing poses you like before we go into Shavasana. So you can do like your modified shoulder stand, legs up against a wall, or the imaginary wall, or any other stretches you may have missed. So just take a moment and find what your body needs right now. And then when you're ready, find your way into your final resting pose of choice. So remember your options. You can lie on your back with your legs extended, or knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. You can take a fetal position on your side, or you can take Shavasana on your belly, or you can take a traditional seated meditation. Or you can do legs up the wall. That's actually a really nice option too if you have that available to you. So just find your final rest, taking in your practice for the day, resting your eyes, and doing one last body scan from the crown of your head down through your neck and shoulders, and your arms, hands, back, hips, legs, and feet. Today's meditation reading is out of the Journey to the Heart book, and it's called Break Through Your Resistance. We sometimes resist new lessons, and what we resist most is likely to be what we most need to learn. Our lessons usually come with inner conflict. The action we should be taking, the idea we should be learning is sometimes hidden behind a wall of resistance. There's a border, a barrier we need to cross to get into the heart of the lesson. Most times that barrier is within us. Lessons require us to let go of old feelings, old beliefs. If they didn't, they wouldn't be lessons. We'd already know them. Sometimes the very thing we feel guiltiest about doing, the place we're most resistant to visiting, the person we're most convinced we shouldn't contact, or the behavior we're tormenting ourselves the most is exactly what we need to be doing. And more often than not, the lesson we're learning is not about what we think it is. We need to embrace the surprise element of life, embrace the mystery of life as it unfolds. The lessons appear as we grow and change. Do what you need to do to break through your resistance. Often that means simply seeing your resistance for what it is. Remember that the greatest resistance is often the place of greatest learning. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, wrists, and ankles, and then slowly transition into a fetal position. We'll stay there for a few moments, using your arm as a pillow or a block or a pillow. And then when you're ready, slowly make your way back into a comfortable seat, cross-legged, grounding into your sit bones. And take your time. And then when you're ready, let's do one last cleansing breath together. So let's inhale, sweep our arms up tall. Bring your hands together, and then hands to heart center, thumbs to sternum. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Hope you enjoyed it. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you everyone for coming. Hope you have a good rest of your day and good weekend ahead. And I guess I'll see you next. Yeah.
So sorry, I just got I entered the Zoom like 5 minutes late. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I